And we're live. خلينا نفرع نمشي نبنو what you know what I mean. Hey guys, we said hey already. um, before we start, David had an interesting comment on our conversation, Ben and I, last week, with respect to Ashimi and Hiomi, that we spent a fair amount of time on it for fun. David, do you want to give us a quick recap?
So this is mostly in terms of English. From my understanding of English, in terms of when it comes to human, man, woman, wife, werewolf, the old Middle English word for man and woman was wermen and wifmen, where what ended up happening is that the where got dropped in man, and then the wif eventually turned to wo, and where the with part is where we get our word for wife from. So that was an interesting thing to sort of correlate the general idea that usually people, when they talk about their wives, they usually just refer to as like a woman or some kind of etymological relationship between there.
So if I'm saying mankind, I'm not ignoring women.
Exactly.
And if I say person, there's no sun in the word.
Exactly. Man,
Right.
man is, from what I understand, is just sort of the generic idea of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I think that happens in a lot of different languages too. I don't know as much about Old English or like English roots as some things, but like in Latin and Greek, there are different words for man man that are like just can be collective plurals for people. Same thing with Latin, like homo hominis is just can be mankind or just people. So yeah, interesting.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, glory be to you, a lover of mankind. That includes everyone. All right. Let's jump on to homework. I don't remember much of what we did last week, except that we did verbs. Finally, you can actually start doing verbs. And the first perfect, or the preterite, I don't know, I'm not a linguist, but it's just simple past. It means something has happened and it is done. There was no, it just happens at a single moment of time. Simple past and past perfect. That would be the easiest thing to do. Just not past continuous. That's the main part, because there's actually an equivalent to it in Coptic. It started with a. Just means it happened in the past. And then in here, you can put either a pronoun or a noun. So in a noun, you can say someone like Rome. Well, obviously, assume you have with all the proper the articles. And for pronouns, we have our beloved ones that we've seen everywhere, except with a few changes. So we have I for I did, ak, are, af, us, and then we have an, taten. Again, nothing should be surprising. And then aw, which is, if you do Greco-Bohairic, it's av, but consistently with everything else should just be an aw. And one small catch is sometimes if you have an a and a word like that start with an indefinite article, they sometimes, it's because like hello, the u is just a wow sound, so it can be like hello. So sometimes they just write it this way, which threw me off a little bit in the beginning, because like, what's happening that they did, but then you realize that this is just a noun, this is an indefinite article, so it's just common. And we're going to see that sometime when you do this, it just becomes this. So it's just something to keep in mind, especially when you read actual text, like ancient texts, rather than like modern hymns. They tend to be more conservative with actually how they write. With that, any questions? All right, let's start. Let's do our typical for each. Just read it in Coptic, translate to English as little as you can while maintaining good English cohesion. Alphabetically, let's start with Ben.
Okay, I feel like eventually we should switch it up and go by last name so that I'll be at the end. But I'm okay for right now. So
Okay.
So Ani Snow or Ani
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anis now voc et polis.
Mm-hmm.
So the brothers walk to the city.
There was a what?
The brothers walk to the city, or walked to the
Walked.
city.
Yes.
It's past tense.
Walked. Because we have an right here. So that
Right.
it's in the past. Walked
Right.
to, so it's to, and then the city. And I just realized, actually, I remember once I said Vaki is the preferred Coptic Bohairic way, and Polis is the Sahidic. And then I remember the hymn is like Polis Emi Jerusalem. So we do use Polis sometimes in Bohairic. I'm not sure if it has to do with Sahidic translation, but it's in hymns that are meant to be Bohairic. I'm not sure what the origin is. So you should be seeing it in Bohairic often, or sometimes.
I guess maybe it depends on the context, or the authors just use them interchangeably.
Oh, yeah. It just means the true city, Jerusalem. That's it.
Okay.
Not even referring to a Greek city.
Okay.
Could be a translation from a Sahidic hymn. Could be.
So it has a religious connotation if you use the Greco-Bohairic form versus the one that's just like an Egyptian city, or it can. It doesn't have to, I guess.
Yeah, not sure.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
not sure where it would come from.
Interesting. Okay. So Hefsheri Afi a Pnei.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Not
son or his son came to our house.
Yes. Came to, so you can see there's an option. You can say A right here, or you can just put Pefshiri Afi. This is more like his son, he came to our house, but still works as his son came to our house. All right.
Okay. This one I wasn't quite sure. There was a weird note on this, and I'm guessing it's reflexive, but I
Yes.
don't know what verb we actually use with this.
This is verb to go, and this is the common way of writing it.
Okay, so it's not reflexive then. There's some.
It's not reflexive in the sense like it is. Actually, not sure what the word is, but it's like you are doing it, but it's not like you're doing it to yourself. Not necessarily.
Okay, so it's sort of like middle voice, and like you yourself are doing this, or not really. It's just no.
The translation for this is usually, I'm not sure, to be honest. I know it's not the same case in Sahidic, so the verb is different. And another example, because to use voc, actually the word for voc, this is more used in Sahidic. Shen will be the one used in Bohairic. Another example is tone. So in Bohairic, you always say aftonf, so he rose, which we like to sometimes meditate on it, that he rose himself. But it's just how Coptic says it. If you literally just stood up, you say aktonk. While in Sahidic, for the exact same verb, you would say aftone without the F at the end. So word different choice. I don't know if there's any depth in here, but it just means she went. That's it. That's what I know.
That's helpful. I just earlier in the book there was something that said it didn't seem to give the definition for that verb, and it just said this verb is used reflexively. I'm like, but what is the verb? So
this would be go, and it's the equivalent of voc.
Okay.
In Sahidic.
Cool. Okay, thank you. That helps. So she went, or the woman went to see. It's like up to the door of the church. Not quite.
Not quite. So let's do the first part. Ashenas, you said.
She went.
She. So literally like she went herself, but just she went. In J, I like to say namely. Well, I usually don't like it, but it's common to just write namely.
Okay. That's a subject marker, right? That goes with the woman.
That's when the subject comes after, you put in J. And it's nicer when you like to emphasize the verb in the beginning, or the subject is super long and you like to give it its own place at the end.
Okay.
Namely, that's why I just put namely, and it flows better in English. So she went namely, and then what's Tifsoni?
Oh, sorry, I messed that up. Actually, his wife.
Not wife.
Or no. Sony. Oh, sorry. Yep. His sister.
Sister. Yes.
Right. Okay.
That's the plural is snow.
You're right.
The plural is right here.
Right. Okay.
Erin. What's A? Let's do it step by step. What's A?
A is 2.
2. What's Ren? Originally,
That's
not really what we say anymore.
it's like at, or it's like before
What's-
in front of.
What's Ren? Like what's Ren? Where does it come from?
It's the face of, right?
Mouth
So, mouth of. Okay.
Mouth. So it's
Okay.
2 mouth.
Mouth.
So this is literally, but it's no longer used this way. So together, it just means at, but you're indicating a direction that she's not. You would say, I am waiting, he ran. So I am waiting at the door, but I am going a run. So I'm going to or at the entrance of.
Okay.
So
So not
A
towards.
It always means there's a motion going on.
Okay, so to the entrance of is a better translation than
To is like
towards.
to at, kind of. To at.
Okay.
And then this is where you get more literally. So it's piro,
The door.
the door. Yes. So iren is just a preposition. It doesn't actually indicate a door. It's a preposition.
Right.
So the door, ente.
It's belonging to the church.
Yes.
Or of the church.
Yeah, the church. Yes. All right. Give me the last one.
Okay. The or I'll be Aldi or
I'll go with awi.
Awi. Okay. Awi ensa nu sheri.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be they came, namely. Oh wait.
No.
No, not that's not NJ. Okay. So they came. Oh, is this a interrogative? Ensa? No, it's not. Okay. Wait. Okay. It's not under.
It's after
After.
or
Okay.
or behind.
Okay. Like chasing after. Okay, so
Yes.
they came after
Yes.
their children.
Yes. So I actually like say came after because sometimes it just means chase.
Okay.
There's also like walk into is also like walk behind just means follow.
Okay.
But also behind as well. Their children. All right. Cool. David, do you want to give us the next part?
Yep. Atefmao Moshi e Pitapos.
Mm-hmm.
His mother walked to the tomb.
Yes. Moshi actually sounds a lot like the Arabic Mishi. I'm not sure. I looked at the etymology book and it doesn't mention any relation.
It could be just a common Proto-Afroasiatic.
Yeah.
Look.
Could be, but because it's super basic word for like just walk. Everyone walks to the.
I was gonna ask for like bulk. I saw at least in the or the definition is given earlier. It just said to go. Is it like to go? Is it in between like to go and walk?
For which word?
For bulk for the first one.
Vok is actually not found a lot in Sahih in Bohairic, but it means go. It just means go. Like I am going to sleep.
Okay.
Moshi is specifically there's a walking involved.
Okay.
It's walking, and we can say that for sure. Yeah. Etau Moshi in Sapen Sotir. So you can also say those who walked behind the Lord. I think in the doxology of the apostles. It just means so not always like walk necessarily all the time. You say they walked behind the Lord, or like so. Think of walk and go. It's almost exact the same. If you think about them.
They in terms of like walking or walking behind, they went with him in a non like hasteful pace, just sort of like went with him, not necessarily very seriously or not seriously, but speedily or.
It carries the same nuance as walk. whatever walk has, moshi has it.
Got it.
And vok and shen carry the same thing as go. So you can actually say afshenafeb shoy nifewi. So he went up to heaven. It just went carries the same. Let's say one up, one down. Afshenafechun. So he went in. It carries the same nuance as go and the moshi. There's not much difference with English.
Since we're talking about this, I always have a little bit of trouble with the idea of like going versus coming. So because there are a lot of words that just mean to walk or to go, it seems like, but there's also or like afi, he came.
He
So
came. Same like English.
it's
Came
like just like English has two words and they can kind of.
It came usually refers like the motion is happening towards a point of reference closer to you. So it's like come here rather than go here. Like if I say come here, that means you will have to come to me. If I say go there or go here, then even if you say go here, you would usually not point at yourself. You wouldn't say go here, and you wouldn't say come there. You can't say come there.
And
I guess.
moshi and pot are kind of like the moving faster or slower to the speed of the motion. So it's just like English in that way, almost.
Sure.
No?
I will not meditate much on this.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No. It's like I don't know. No. I'm not telling you don't. I'm just saying
Okay.
I don't know beyond that. It just means walk. I haven't thought about it thoroughly.
No worries.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right. 6. Anef is this? I assume this has to be a typo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anef matetes lei a pjoy. The students climbed upon the ship, or up to, right? Yeah.
Yes. Ale is actually a Semitic for Ali, like high. It's always something high. So you always know it's like boarded on Ale Abe Joy be boarded on the ship, or basically went up the ship. So say his disciples. Aleo be I would say boarded for these together. Boarded up the ship. So just not a literal translation, but it refers to them to just went up the ship. Okay, next one.
Of Boksha Keson, he went up to another brother.
Yes, yeah, perfect. He went, and then Shah is actually up to, and then another brother. Okay, give me one more.
All right. Ani Edren Pepe, we came to the entrance of his house.
Yes.
Or home.
If this was real life and it translates into English, you would just say at. We arrive at his house. But it then tells you that when you arrived at his house, you were at the door. You're just not on the roof.
Yes.
But yeah, it's treated like a preposition with the nuance that you're at the door.
Right.
All right, I can do 2. Afmoshi je Petros ijen tiemvro in tefium. So he walked. So he walked, namely Peter. Jen, so unto the Emvro is at shore or Bex? I think it's at shore, right?
Yes, with the nuance that this is a shore that can be landed on.
Okay, so harbor. I think it was a harbor. So the harbor.
I think for pretty much for all of these cases, because generally for a harbor, most people think of a harbor as like developed, and I think pretty much in all the cases in the exercises here, it's not really reasonable to think of it as a developed.
So we can say banks.
You could say banks.
Banks are a little bit more tamed than just it's somewhere in between both of them. All right. And then ni monachos awale eepto. So the monks, it's a Greek word, They climbed. It just has to go as like you're going up, regardless of how you're doing. To. And to is a word for monastery or mountain. So for this case, I'll just say, I mean, if I say Awali, it will probably be a mountain because you're going up. Unless the monastery is on the mountain,
Mm-hmm.
then it's two birds with one stone.
Yes. Is there a verb to climb down, or would it be sort of like a go down type of thing?
Probably go down.
That's a good question.
Here we go. They're going up there. That's where they're going. It works for both. All right, Ben. Next 4.
Okay. Anaphates pot ekema. So, let's see. His students or his disciples ran to someplace or ran towards someplace.
So fought is actually ran or fled.
Okay. Fled to somewhere or someplace.
Another.
Oh, another place.
Yes.
Okay.
It just means both. If you say Monfort, it's mentioned in the Psalms, and the Psalms, Monfort is the place of refuge.
Okay.
So ma is place. So
Manfot.
Yeah.
Man or manpot. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. Monfort will be the place of refuge. So it's not the place of running. It's not like a treadmill in the gym. It could be, but in the Psalms, he means refuge.
That could be neologism. That could be a neologism.
There we go.
And Kez just another. It's not some, or it's not another way of saying the indefinite article.
No,
it's basically different,
yes.
Essentially. Okay.
Yes. Cool. Ki also means, we'll learn that later. I can ask him. I was mentioned this book earlier. It just means also. So you can say, and also the place. So there's always just something else. It's completely something else.
Cool. Well, thanks for explaining that. All right. So then, as Eshleo et the Nes Sheri. So she prayed for her children.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And okay, this one's I think is a question. It's like, for what reason, or like why are you all running, or did you all run for or in or upon the road? Why did you all run upon the road or on the road? Or on this road?
Say onto
this road.
Just be literal.
Okay, because it's going toward. Because okay. I think I was translating as Hijan again. So
yes, you'll find that Hiran, Ejan, Hijan.
Right.
Remember, moit is the preferred way of saying growth, unlike in ⲉⲃ that like say hie.
Right.
They just differently use different vocab, but ⲉⲃ actually does use moit sometimes as well. That means, I think when I read it, it just meant like an abstract way, like the way to truth, kind of. But it still uses hie for truth sometimes, like way of truth. But more the preferred Bohairic way of saying growth.
So in Bohairic, one of them takes on a more of an abstract sense of just way, versus one is a literal sense of a road or a path.
I haven't seen hie in Bohairic,
Okay.
but you're reading two sentences like he walked on the road. You would see tehie in ⲉⲃ and pimoit in Bohairic.
Okay.
There's different word choice.
They still know about the nuance.
Just preferred way of saying it.
And there's. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say it just seems purely preferential.
Yeah.
Just sort of. I assume some people just pretty much only use path.
Yeah.
Versus like road.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound like either of the two words has its own special nuance that we know of, which is you could choose
I
path or
always
road like in English.
I always like think of the word like elevator and lift. Both English has the word to elevate and to lift, but some
Right.
people chose this to be the lift and this to be an elevator, and they both going up high.
Yeah, that's a good explanation because like American speakers just say elevator.
Yeah.
And yeah, interesting.
And both words exist in the vocab. Just one is more preferred.
Right. Yeah, and that's also a great example of dialects in English versus dialects in Coptic, which work pretty similarly. So
Yeah.
it's neat. Okay. So
Next one.
next one. Moshi nem dihiomi eptimi or eptimi. Okay.
Yeah.
So we walked on. No. Nem. We walked with.
Yes. Yeah. Good job.
Okay. We walked with the Hiomi.
The discussion we had earlier when we started today.
Right. Is it women plural?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Right. It's like sime. Okay. So with the women to the town.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, David, take us to the next.
All right. Ni heloi shenol sha episcopos.
Mm-hmm.
The elders went up the episcopos. What was it also? I forgot what it was. Went up to the bishop.
Yes, it's all over the hymns. Do you have a bishop in your diocese?
No, there's
Makes sense.
there's sort of talks that maybe something soon.
Once you have one, you're gonna be praying this multiple times during the liturgy.
It's only rumors. Rumors in the dark.
All right, next.
Ashle et be Ninabi.
Mm-hmm.
He prayed for our sins. Afale and Je Pinchois Epidol. He climbed, namely our Lord, to the mountain. Could you technically translate kind of somewhat literally and just go to the engine and just say he climbed our Lord to the mountain? And sort of like a interactive, not interactive, but just interjection clarity. Well, at least in English, that's probably how you would. Only way it would be kind of understood, because
I would.
Grammar would be kind of.
J. If you don't want to say in J, I would probably say our Lord went up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And because in J doesn't add an emphasis, like you say he went, like our Lord, to the mountain. It doesn't add. Wait, did you lose power?
No, I'm sitting in a commons room.
Okay. It doesn't add an emphasis in the same way we say sometime it is I who did something. Or we went to the first example. Nefshiri Afi, so his children, his son, he came to our house. This is where you might have like a comma in between if you choose to. Within J, it's not the case. It's literally just the regular subject being moved, rather than saying my wife. So actually, there's actually in Bohairic, not in Sahidic, there's actually a word for this called ⲉ. You say your people, us, we're happy. There's a construction for this, for like the little pause. That's actually uniquely in Bohairic. You would find it in the midnight praise. and the Kyrieleisons at the end, Anon Khani Laos. So like us, your people, are so and so.
Mm.
Or save us, your creation from some. So you say kha in between. So NJ does not do that. NJ just moves the subject to next without any emphasis or nuance.
Okay. Do you have one more?
Yeah, go for it.
Epe were akpot and sa pekiot. Why he ran after his father? Wait, why
Not ran.
why did you run after your father? After your father.
Yes. Potensa, I also think it means chase. I think,
I know. I've seen a bit.
but
So
you're
it-
probably not chasing your father. So say run after, and then I can work either way you want.
Chase after, possibly.
So we'll go with like Potensa can mean chase, but I think run after it can literally means you're running behind, or it can mean you're chasing. So we'll leave that up to context. But run after is perfectly fine.
Mhm.
Could be like following quickly versus with the other word that's
Yeah.
slower. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to kind of ask about it more so in the later examples where there's a lot of implied chasing, but there's different speeds.
I think there's a word that literally means follow. Let's find it quick. So in J, yeah, in J here doesn't mean much. Let's find the vocab. Hopefully, okay. So to pursue is
Okay.
Potensa. Also mean runs or flee.
Mm-hmm.
So that we know that there's no following happening here. And Moshi is walk, go on foot, verbal conjugation. Okay, there's nothing comes here. Oh, Iansa also means comes to get or to come after. Can also mean pursue. So the police is Iansayu. I can say that. It does. I don't say anything about follow. I thought there was one for follow, but that's fine. I guess there isn't. Okay, so Ian Sa is actually to come after or come to get. So that would be it. Can say the police is Ian Sayu. You're Sayu. And yeah, nothing else, I guess. And then poet is because you're running. So running after is pursue. Pursue. Okay. All right, let's gonna do the next two. And as E and J tivoki na harempes choice. So as E, so she, Kim, namely the Voki, servant, which sounds an awful lot like Voki, but it just means servant. The preferred Sahidic one is Hemhal. Nahrin is before. Okay, I think I'm losing my stylus. Before her master. SVO Arimi SV Ni Alowi Etemau. So SVO together is Y. Y Are is you feminine, and I think Casey once mentioned that Are actually ends with a glottal stop. That might have been dropped over time, but you could have said Are. But you don't have to do it. But I think he just worth mentioning because he mentioned where it came from. You should have had a stop right here. Rimi is weep. Why you so would be wept? Why or why did you weep? For it's for or for the sake of. The Alowi is it's like young children. It's like the youth. So basically just the guys. You can just say the guys. And this is the plural form. Itemau, who are there? So you can say those guys. Why'd you weep for those guys? Or why did you weep for the sake of those guys? These or those? It should be those.
Quick question about the
Yes.
Ararimi. with the glottal stop after the re.
Mhm.
Is that just a glottal stop? Do you remember if you mentioned that it's a glottal stop before the root of that word, rimi? Or if it's part of
the are.
it happens after that
Yes.
sound combination, so it's not
So-
part of the root.
Yes. It seemed
Okay.
that it used to be a T or something. I'm not sure. And then
Oh,
or R, so it
okay.
got dropped, so it was replaced
I
by
see.
glottal stop. At least that's where it came from. By the year
Okay.
600, what was it still there? Probably not, especially that we don't see it in writing.
Okay.
But at least at some point it was there, and there was a letter that was before it, so it replaced it. But whether it survived or not, hard to tell. Likely not, just because we don't see it.
Okay. Thanks. That helps. Thank you.
Sorry, I wouldn't say. Okay, I'll take that back, saying it's not there because we don't see it, because we know the word for house is a.
Mhm.
It doesn't have anything to say there's a glottal stop, but we know from the grammar there is.
Okay.
The thing that is mentioned is in Sahidic you have n for n or ne or n. This is when it's followed by a vowel. Start is not working. Okay, the n, the first one, is when it's followed by one consonant. Ne, if you have two consonant, and then
Right.
just the n if you have a vowel. So
Right.
if it was just a vowel, you say ne, but that's not the case. You actually say n, a. So we know there's a glottal stop that must exist there that actually makes you stop before you say a, rather than combining them together.
Oh, I get it. Because you can't have three consonants in a row, right? Is that
No.
or-
So
no?
that is not okay. It's back. So we have just that's something fun. Has nothing to do with what we're doing, but you have n plus consonant, and then ne plus two consonant, and then n plus vowel. So a regular example would be n cosmos, just means the worlds. Ne prophetes, the prophet. Or you say I need something with not with a iota. Nuta. So say nuta. It means the fruits. So you just say but. So if you see a, you think we put this, but that's not the case. We actually see this. So we know there's a vowel right here. So this vowel can only be a glottal stop. That's basically just how we know.
Cool. Thank you for explaining that. That's helpful to see that all side by side.
Would the glottal stop make sense for, I guess the verb to come? I don't know if that ⲉⲃ is supposed to be there, but I assume it is.
I thought about it. If I want to give a rule, unless you see it's an M or an N at the beginning of a word, you should not be using a ⲉⲃ anywhere. This is my rule of thumb that I thought about keeping me up at midnight. If it's not an M or
The reason why I came up with it, because it would be like array, but usually when you usually see the eta and iota, I think the general convention is just sort of like not trying to treat it as something supposed to just do a. So would like the verb to come, but I want to say I came would it be array or would it be array?
oh, like I came would be IE, probably IE or IE, because you can say afi. So the iota, it might sound awkward, but it's just IE. I came. He can stop, but it just doesn't seem. At least we don't see that in Sahidic, where they make this pause. And even the ⲉⲃ over a vowel, I don't remember seeing it anywhere. Like this was added eventually at some point in the history, but you could. I'm not saying it's not that you can see IE. This can be the case that actually E has a glottal stop in the verb itself, just like A for house has it. So maybe E for come has it, but just the ⲉⲃ, like writing the ⲉⲃ is what I'm having problem with.
Okay.
Keep in mind in Sahidic it's just this way. You have to actually write E this way. So like, where would you put the ⲉⲃ? If you read Akhmimic, actually it looks like this means IE. This means I can. They write it this way. They just don't have. Academics has no concept of yotas. They don't like it whatsoever. They have to put an A before it. Okay, should we keep going? Oh, we're almost there. Oh, never mind. It's another page. Okay, we are halfway done. Let's keep going. All right. Let's increase the pace a little bit. So for that, Ben, let's do the next 5. Let's do 5.
Okay, sounds good. So Hemsi,
Yes.
Egenti Embro, Piaro.
Yes.
So let's see, Hemsi. I sat
Mm-hmm.
upon
Sure. I mean,
upon
works.
at the entrance of, right?
No.
No, that was Hiren. Right. Oh man. Okay. I sat near.
No. Jan is
No.
head. So be
Ejen.
onto.
Okay. I sat onto. Thank you. The shore of the the bank of the river.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Atigelo, Rimi et Peseri.
Mm-hmm.
So the old man wept. No, T, right? The old women.
Yes.
Or the elder women wept at the maybe for her children.
Yes, it's an
or her child or son. Yeah.
Rimi is to what weep for.
Oh, weep for. Okay.
Yeah, just an idiom, just memorize as is.
Okay, great. Al hemsi nem enu seno. Senau. So they sat with their brothers.
Yes.
Or siblings.
Yeah.
Okay. And all right. Imoshi, he. What did I say? Well, no. Sorry. Imoshi, he hamoid nem top sherry. So they.
Not they.
Not they. I.
Mm-hmm.
I walked on the road with my daughter.
Yes.
And the 5th one.
No more?
Yep. Alvoki pamoit et amal et polis. So they walked on the road.
Not walked.
Or walked. Oh, sorry. Alvoki.
What's Vok?
Oh, Vok isn't. They went, not walked. Right. Thank you. So they went on the road, on that road to the city.
Yeah. Okay. David, do you want to finish it? Next 5.
Yep. Pefto pot sha nes titor. His horse ran up to her horses. Off.
Wait, so what's pot? Ran?
Pot is ran.
Or pot is ran up to?
Sha, yeah, up.
What's Ness?
Ness, her. Or, yeah, her.
What's
Hitor is the plural for horse, so it's horses, yes?
Yes.
Alright. Afale Ejen Pihito and Episcopos. He climbed up climbed upon the horse of the bishop. Or mounted, yes. I remember seeing that in the dictionary provided, the ⲉⲇⲟ.
Mhm.
Efmao asi sha beodro en Tepolis. His mother, she came up to the king of the city. Would this be better understood as appeared before, or would another verb be better for that?
I wouldn't say appeared before because you would use naharan, but you're not. You're using up to. So you're talking about actually her motion rather than she appearing.
Okay. Anshlel ha ne ninsneu chen pito. We prayed under our brothers in the mountain.
This is a literal translation, but there is a word for it.
We prayed for something.
Yes. And if it's for someone, you just say an e.
Mm,
Even though you say you would think it's like you pray to, but actually you pray for.
okay. Prayed for something.
So we prayed for. Keep going. You said our bros on the in
the mountain. Or I guess this would probably be a monastery.
Yes, because you would not be inside the mountain. Actually, you could be trapped in a mountain, which is why you pray for them. That makes sense.
It could be a cave in the mountain as well, but I imagine you'd probably be a little more specific with that.
Yeah.
Could work. Alrimi ejen na nobi. I wept. I wept upon art. I wept unto my sins.
I think it's in Urim as well, and it will mean I weep upon or weep for my sins.
Weep for, yeah.
It's like because of my sins, I am weeping.
Yeah, I would think ethbe a little more for like for.
There's this little nuance in it. Okay, so if you say I prayed it bear my sins, you're saying I am weeping for the sake of my sins, meaning if I am hoping that my sins are forgiven if I am weeping. So I'm weeping for the sake of them, that they might be forgiven. But if I say I'm weeping a Jannah novi, it's like because of my sins I'm weeping, not necessarily for an end goal. They are the cause. So if I rimi a Jan, it is the cause of my rimi. But if I rimi etve, it's like I'm hoping there's an end goal because of what I'm doing. So a little different. So if I say I rimi a Jannah novi, that means I have sinned and now I'm crying. But if I say I rimi a Jannah novi, it's like I'm hoping that God will hear my crying, and because He sees me weeping, He will forgive my sins. So it's for the sake of my sins.
Yes. All right.
Little nuance, but it's nice to get some message across. I mean, assume people read this. All right. I think this is the last. No, not the last 10. Okay, let's do 6 at a time. Ben, let's do the next.
Okay, sure. Let's see. Plural. Hemsi Ejin Pef Pronos.
Mhm.
So oh right. So the king sat upon his throne. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Right, and then Api Matetes Hemsi Hiren Epro Pe. So the students or the student sat at or at the entrance of the door of the house.
Mhm.
Long week, guys. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
So then, output engine initially he promote at tiembro. So they ran, namely the children, on the road to the harbor, or to the shore or something. Maybe
No.
harbor's better.
Sorry, not two. Sorry, I messed up. Sorry. What's he
He on.
on?
So on the road to
Okay.
the
Yes.
shore, or to the beach, maybe.
Let's stick to banks.
Banks, sure. Okay. On the road to the banks. Okay,
Somewhere in the middle.
cool. PO Moshi Ensa Hefmatetes.
Mm-hmm.
So the yo is new vocab word. This wasn't donkey.
Yeah. Yo,
Oh,
and
this.
honestly, it's the word is from the sound that the animal makes. I'm
Oh,
not
this is a donkey. Okay.
sure.
Okay. The
Not sure
plural
if
looked weird, I think.
yo, but sure.
Do you know if any other dialects have like an eta before the iota and omega?
Yes.
Like yo.
Eu?
No, just say yo.
Yo. Isn't the plural something like
And Sahidic
o
is
or
oh,
something?
just the iota. It's not an a, just a iota at all times. It's just how they do it.
Okay.
So iota
so-
looks like this. This is iota.
Cool.
Okay.
So
Moshi and sa is one word, and you would think it means
to walk after or to follow.
yes. Yes, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
And what's the tense?
So it's simple past, so it followed.
Yes.
So the donkey followed his student.
Kind of weird. I would think his master, but sure.
Right, yeah, that would make more sense. Like he's learning from the donkey. Of Hemsi and Enja Epuro and Epo. So he sat, namely the king, in the mountain.
No.
Or not in.
There'll be
It's
toe.
not on.
It's N. He said N.
Oh,
Sorry.
in. I did say in.
But
Okay.
what's O?
And it's not mountain. It's I'm blanking. I'm sorry. Glory. Right. Okay.
So for glory.
Okay. It's an adjective that means great. In earlier Egyptian, it sounds similar to that. I'm not sure if it's related or not. Maybe we'll use that to memorize that.
Probably. I'm not sure. The word for great is Osh. No, that's a lot. Yeah, I think. Yeah, there is a similarity. We can get there. I think we'll get to it.
I was thinking about like Pharaoh being from Perao.
Yes.
But I don't know if that's related.
I think the word is oi.
Okay.
Oi means great. I'm not sure if they're related.
As an adjective. Okay.
In Sahidic, it's actually eo. So I'm not sure if that helps.
Okay. And those mean great, but
Yes.
this
is the same one.
As a noun.
This is Sahidic and Bohairic, and this one's ao.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, this one's just o.
Cool. All
right. Last one.
Okay. Alhemsi eti trapeza enja teksimi.
Sorry.
Or tekesimi nem neksheri.
Okay.
Or nekesheri.
Break it down one by one.
Okay, cool. So they sat at the table, or it's literally it's to the table, but
I think
at makes sense.
We'll explain why at and why igen like sat onto. We'll go over this.
Okay, it's like they pulled their chairs up to the table, kind of.
No, it just explains just a different way how Coptic deals with prepositions.
Okay. Well, obviously, having trouble with that.
10 minutes, probably. Okay.
Oh yeah, gosh, I didn't just notice that. Okay. So they sat at the table,
Mhm.
namely namely your
Mhm.
your women or your wives, and not wives.
What? Not wives.
Yeah. Oh, namely your wife, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because for two things, this word himi is singular and also
Right.
not neck.
Nick. Right. Thank you. We had that, like, I think it was last week. There was something weird with that. So, okay. So they sat at the table, namely your wife and that your children. That's why the verb, not charity, your daughter. Or it's not
Let
egg.
me write it. It looks like this. It will look probably like
Nick. Sherry. Oh, okay. Some your
some.
other children.
Not children. It's very
Sherry.
gender specific.
Oh, daughters.
Yes.
Okay. Your other daughters.
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Okay. I think it's a 6.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Handromi I haten tieklese. Some men or men came to the entrance of the church. So
Hahten is near.
near the church or beside the church.
Yes.
Et bewa ak moshi insa pio hijen by moit. Why did you I can't remember what Moshi Insa. I think Moshi Insa was itself an idea. Walked after, followed
Walked after.
the donkey upon this path.
You said this donkey? Follow.
That path.
No, you said, why did you follow? Why did you follow?
Why did you follow the donkey upon this path?
Upon. Perfect. Mm-hmm.
Jesus hemsi hatin nefmatetes. Jesus sat down near his students. Yes.
You can say beside.
Beside. Yeah. Amoshi enja ni maneso ensa en wes so. They walked, namely the shepherds, or I guess it's probably more so followed. They followed after, namely the shepherds, after the after their sheep. Conversation you guys had last time in terms of the man before the SO. For me, I've always seen this, and this makes no sense to me because I would have imagined something like ref SO, like
Not ref. Ref means the sheeper. Like you
Yeah.
are doing sheep. You're not doing sheep. I would think of like ham miso, like the worker of, or sa. Ma always refers to a place. So I'm gonna guess they came like they shared the enso, but man maybe lover for my like I see what you're meaning, but I wouldn't say
possible for my, because I've always seen ma en, because that's what this is. This is ma en, place of
yeah,
sheep.
so.
Just
I know. I'm not sure the etymology. Maybe you can look it up and let us know next time.
yes.
Yeah, I found that weird as well. I remember when I read it, I was confused.
I tried looking up Sifi because it's for last time. I know Sifi is sword, but I tried looking up to see if there's any etymology. I wasn't able to find anything.
I wonder if it has something to do with like who the office of taking care of the sheep, like the job, like the lord of the sheep pen, referring to a shepherd or something. Maybe it's some archaic thing like that. The guy whose job is taking care of sheep.
Also is in the same place where the sheep live, so it could be.
I guess.
Like
Yeah.
how the word palace becomes pharaoh eventually. Like the guy who lives in the palace, his word literally means Mr. Big House, which is pretty funny, I think. So.
I guess the question would be, how much did the sheep follow the shepherd? Was it more of a leading role, or was it more of a guiding role? Because it might very well be that the shepherd is the place in which sheep go, or the place in which sheep are at. Because I believe the word for altar is like the place of offering.
The word of, yes, giving, of doing sacrifices. Manor shofru.
The place at which sacrifices happen, where a shepherd might be the place where sheep are at. I think that could kind of work, but it seems a bit of a stretch.
It's interesting that you're having a place that's used as something associated with a place that then gets reassociated with a person. It's interesting, but
or that the person is essentially associated as a place where sheep are just at. There's just the where sheep are at. That's where the person that takes care of the sheep is. One and the same kind of
where
idea.
there are sheep, there are shepherds, kind of thing. I guess. Interesting.
All right. Api gamul pot e piohi. Is this a different way of spelling sheep, or not sheep? Camels.
This is the way of spelling camel.
This is.
Yes, I don't think there's another way. There's one for
I
feminine.
thought there was one with the janja.
I think that's Sahidic, right? It's Jamul.
Right.
I'm not sure.
You're right. Could be. I'm not sure. When I read, I thought it was just camel. Could be. This book is full of typos, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. But anyways, the camel ran to the field.
Yes.
Then Anshtir e Mani, and then I guess this would be probably, if I remember correctly, we prayed for a miracle.
Yes, or a sign.
Or sign, yeah.
I'm not sure if there's a word for miracle, or it's the same word, but mini is a sign.
To the book, it's the same thing. Sign, miracle, one or the other.
Yeah. Okay, let me finish the rest. Pilaos and Polis, Isha, Pegomen, and Teudaya. So, and feel free to stop me at any point. The people, but it's singular, of the city came up to the governor of Judea. I think I'll have Teudaya. Okay, that'll be my guess. Cherry Hemsi Nem Nesengenes. So the not daughter or child, but it's feminine. Sat. Hemsi is one of the verbs that is almost completely different in every dialect. You have mos, hamse. It's just everywhere. It's messy. With you can look it up in Chrome. You find all the different variations. With her, kinsmen, but I just say relatives. I'm not sure if there's difference. Hopefully not. Avok and Jeb Higomen, it's Syria. So he went, namely, the governor to Syria. Pep Ora and Israel. This is the king of Israel. We're done. I think that's it. Nice. We are done. Good job, everyone.
Cool. Thank you.
Right. Let's work on our next lesson. Should be a continuation. Simple in the sense it has some coherent logic. Annoying that with this logic you actually create a lot of combinations. But it's a continuation of what we talked about last time, which is the verbs and some prepositions, and how you can make with the preposition like we saw with the verbs, you make different meanings. So the first thing we're going to do is directional adverb. So basically, it's an adverb, or what we call a preposition pointing to a direction. There is 8 of them in Lambden, 7 in this book. These are the basics. This book explains more combinations, but we'll just introduce a few, and then if you can read more. Remember that A means two, and then when you actually combine it with, so this is the etymology, and then it just works as one unit. A means two, pointing to direction, or an exchange of, it's just direction involved. And then when you combine it to words or nouns that do have meanings, you can actually create kind of a specific direction. And with that, you come up with a preposition. So the word for vol is from Semitic barra, which actually means out. So to out. So evol just becomes mean out. ⲉⲃ is into. So ⲉ is like the inside. ⲉⲃ I think it means, was it up? Let me double check. Yes. So ⲉⲃ is up. ⲉⲃ is down. So actually pe is the seat, or seat is the floor. So towards the floor just means down. ⲉⲃ is the front. So you say ⲉⲃ towards the front just means forward. ⲉⲃ this one is interesting. This is a body part in your back where there's 2 of them. So basically your buttocks. And this is an ancient when they had singular, dual, and plural. This is dual. It means back. So you can say, actually, I went back to the city. You would use ⲉⲃ. So it kind of, they all lost the actual meaning of literal meaning. I did not find it in Bohairic, but I thought I would mention it. ⲉⲃ, it just means to the heaven. Bohairic likes, and also Hidik has ⲉⲃ. So ⲉⲃ means high. ⲉ is the high. To the high just means upward. And this is the word where we get the name Pishoy. So same Pishoy, or people call Pishoy, just means high, or the high. So it's not Bishoy, like people say, but whatever. It just means ⲉⲃ. I say, he lifts up the incense up to heaven, ⲉⲃ in Nifewi. So that's it. That's the preposition. You can use them as is. So here in this book, he combines them with in and saw, which is stuff we're going to see later. But if you want to see them now, but I don't think you'll see them in the I don't think you're going to see them in the homework, hopefully. It just, now that we have a word, you basically just use direction somewhere. Are you on the right or towards the right? So ⲉⲃ or ⲉⲃ. So ⲉⲃ is you're going downward. ⲉⲃ is like it's located downward. There's no direction involved. So skip all this. They can be used alone. You can just say he went out, of vocable, and then ⲉⲃ, he went in, and then ⲉⲃ he just went, or he ran back, or back to the city. So again, I remember it lost the literal meaning. I just points to directions right now. Sometimes you can combine them with other simple prepositions, the one we just covered, and come up with other things, other meanings. So one thing to notice is prepositions in Coptic work opposite of English. So if you want to say that the preposition points to where something starts from rather than what it's ending to. So if I'm on a chair, I say, I am getting up from on the chair, rather than, or something on the table fell on the floor, you say, it fell from on table rather than it fell to the floor. So, and you're going to see that an example if you just, we're going to cover, if it confuses you, don't worry. We'll cover it more. Actually, I'm thinking next week, we actually watch together the video by Christian Casey. Is it this week, next week, or this week? Because if it is, I'm just going to stop talking and just watch them together if you guys are down. The Coptic, yes, next week. We're going to watch it more, and he's going to explain a little bit more about all the body parts and the different things. But for now, just know if you see a sentence is like why the preposition other way, just remember it's the opposite side of English. So there's no word from. So if I want to say I took it from the box, took a chocolate from the box, so I took the chocolate out in the box. So that's where it was for the opposite. You say you're taking it out, but in English is out in. It starts from in. So it's ⲉⲃ. And if you're familiar with hymns, ⲉⲃ is use it everywhere. So he rose up from the dead. ⲉⲃ nimot. So from in, that means in English out. I got up from on the seat. It can make sense in English, but you don't say I got up. It's like I got out on. And they use out is used a lot. So you can say here out of. It just means from. Out to. So it's away to. So I'm running away to. So I'm running out to. ⲉⲃ we can talk about ⲉⲃ quickly, maybe next week, I think. I think that's it. So that is for preposition, just the combinations. And with the example, just know the simple words, get a gist of it, and then the homework, it should help you a lot. Difference between nem. Okay, next part. Difference between nem and wo. Very common to see both of them. They usually translate it as an and, but they have actually a really fun way to that makes them different. In simple terms, nem means with or and, but if you jump to wo, also means and. Usually used with sentence. But there is a good way to remember it is nem means there is an addition because it also means with. So I have a pen and a paper. So I have a pen, nem, a paper. There's two things being together, which is why in some verbs you would see the man and his wife, he went. Because it's not the man and the wife went as a plural. It's like the man with his wife, we still focus on the man, he went. They went together, but nem involves there's just an addition. It could be addition together or an association. Wo on the other hand, means there are two things happening in parallel to each other. So good examples come from our hymns. If you think about two words, like two things, if you say ni cherubim, nem, ni seraphim, so the cherubim and the seraphim, they're two different things. But in the hymns for Saint Mary, you say Solomon so called you in the book of books, tasoni, wo tashferi, means my sister and my friend. Those are the same things. They're the same thing, but they're running parallel to each other. If you had said tasoni nem tashferi, you're saying tasoni along with or with my friend. So you're actually talking about two people. But once you say wo, you're talking about one person, and these are things coming together. They're parallel to each other. Usually nem would come with nouns, because usually we talk about two things happening together, a pen and a paper. And usually wo would come with verbs. So soti emon, wo nainan. So save us and have mercy on us. It just this and that, and they can run parallel to each other. You're saving us and you have mercy on us at the same time. Just think about it mostly with verbs, just works, or between phrases and sentences. While nem, there's an addition involved. Like if we're inventing math, I'm not sure if there was math back then. If you want to say 1 + 2, you can technically use nem, 1, nem 2. And then the equal sign would be, actually, no. But then, again, I think tasoni wo tashfiri is a great example versus ni cherubim nem ni seraphim. That's about the difference. One last thing, just for completion. Sometimes wo between verbs can be dropped. So in a lot of hymns we say aki aksoti emon. You came, you saved us. In English, just and saved us. It's the same thing. Because you're not adding them to each other. You're just kind of running them parallel. So you can say you came and saved us, or you came, you saved us. There are two things happening. I wouldn't say simultaneously because you can use different verbs, but the concepts are just, there's no addition involved. That's it. Any question about wo and nem? I'm gonna guess there is.
I make a comment when I was discussing earlier when I brought up my question. I think kind of makes sense with the etymology, because the etymology is that, according to Cherney, the best I can do, it comes from hieroglyphs. Iwe is probably the best I can do. I'm not very good with the Egyptological convention, but it's the verb to put or place.
That
So
would be wo. Yeah. There's this verb that means to place or to put, and actually that's the word where oasis come from.
but from what I understand, with the idea that you're with, especially with like two words, if I'm going in pillaging, let's say I'm a barbarian going in pillaging, I go and I place pillaging, and those things happen together, kind of thing. Would that sort of make sense? Either placed by or next to, like the ideas or the actions are placed by, next to, and just happening.
I'm not sure. I actually don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know wo, and wo again means to actually to increase. That's all. I'm not sure where wo comes from. And just for completion, I wrote it here. Nem is men in Sahidic. I'm not sure if that helps in any way. And wo comes from awo. That's in Sahidic. This is the Sahidic part.
Mm-hmm.
I am not sure. I don't know. And the difference between wo and nem is me looking at parallels. I haven't seen it written somewhere. That would be my best explanation to myself.
Right.
Based on just reading it everywhere.
Okay.
I'm also kind of confused about the differences between the parallel, what you mentioned as an addition and a parallel. But it helps to think about how wo is for verbal
Yes.
agreement, and nem is for noun agreement of nouns, like you said, pen and a pencil. Or
Yes. Think about it this
paper.
way. Wo works for verbs and phrases. Nem is for nouns. But you can use wo for nouns if both nouns refer to the same object. So
Okay.
in the sense of the first one, in the concept of the hymn, Solomon is calling Saint Mary my sister and my friend. It's the same thing. Tasoni wo tashferi. It's they're parallel. They're not. If he had said nem, it means you are my sister, person number one, and with or in addition to, because remember nem also means with, so there's an association, there's an extra thing that is happening. Tashferi means my sister, person one, my friend. So if I say I have a friend, wo a lover, you would know that my friend is my lover. So
if you use nem, or no, if
I use wo. So
okay.
I can say I have a wife, wo a friend. So I'm saying my wife is my friend. But if I say I have a wife, nem a lover, I'm getting in trouble.
Oh, I get it. Okay, so
That's-
one is when one is actually separate. They're listing things. So nem is essentially listing two different things. Whereas
a wife,
parallelism is wo is
wo a lover.
the things are related.
This is good. If I say nem, this is bad. This is polygamy.
Yeah,
That would be
that's helpful.
a different religion.
Right. Huh. Cool.
That's it. And given that you don't add verbs to each other, like save us and have mercy on us, it just use just wo. You don't like add, unless there's somehow in some context you want to add, like with. So eat with drinking. Maybe if I tell you eat while you're drinking somehow, so that's probably when I use nem. But if I just say eat and drink, it would be eat, wo, drink, because you're eating at the same time you're drinking. But I'm not saying they don't have to come together. You're just doing both in parallel. You're eating and drinking.
Right. I like those examples. That helps clear it up a lot. I also had a quick question about the fact that there isn't really a simple preposition that is used as for from. That is really interesting, and I've never heard of that happening. That's pretty cool. So
is just level literally just means from. Like I write it as one word. word. Like I don't put space between them. But
Right. I mean, it's understood that way, but the fact that it's derived from multiple prepositions is pretty
Yeah.
out there for me. But it's cool.
If you remember, it's always where it starts from, so it's out, in, because it starts from in. That will kind of hopefully start making sense. And then at this point, just summarize it.
Got
All
it,
right.
yeah.
Last thing about verbs, and actually with preposition, verbs, almost every verb can become a masculine noun. So you can say I prayed. You can say pishlil. I run. So I fled. So I fought. It would be like befought, the fleeing, the running, just like in English. Actually, anything can just put an ing and it just becomes a word. So the weeping, the pirimi, and actually you can actually even put it with it becomes a word. It becomes a noun with its own preposition. So if actually say pe evil, it's the coming out. Pe evil is came out. So pe evil is coming out. So if they had people in the closet back in the days, and someone wants to come out at 19, it's the pe evil, the pe evil. It's always a masculine noun.
Is this a participle or considered a participle, or is this considered an infinitive? Because the terminology is kind of
Use the infinitive. So you use the infinitive and it becomes a noun.
okay. That's
So
helpful.
think of any verb like eat. The eating would be p-wom. Food becomes chin-wom. That's it. I'm not sure if there are any exceptions, but that's the common rule of just put a peh before it becomes a noun. Just like in English, I think if you just put an ing, I think every verb. You can even say the having of money. I mean, you don't want to say that, but you can actually say the having of money. Sounds fine to me.
There's a thing that happens in ancient Greek and in Koine Greek that's kind of similar. That's called an articular infinitive, and it's when you take the definite article and you put it next to the infinitive. So it literally looks like the to do something. Like
That's it. Yeah.
it's basically the same thing here.
Yeah. I can guess if you say novi means sin, novi is to sin, per novi is the sinning. That would be my guess. I haven't seen it, but that would be my best guess. All right, that's all. And then you have fun. Oh, tone, the one we talked about for rising, of tonf. And the homework seems reasonable, nice. Only 30 words, no, but 30 sentences, and they're very short, so should be a nicer homework for next week. All right, that's all. Any questions before we go? All right, I am gonna stop the recording in case you have questions offline.